So as we head towards 6 minutes to go, let's give you a little talk around the course. We start off obviously with fence 1 right hand by the big screen, heading left to right. Over fence 1, and then on a right-handed grade, the riders will probably go outside of fence 4 for a nice line into the upright at 2. Then I'm guessing they're going to come inside fence 7, which is 6 11 line. They may decide to come outside of it because they go on left-handed grade and come back down across right in front of the grandstand into the upright at 3. Moving on ahead to the offset at 4. And continuing on under that left-handed grade, they come back around past fence 1 on the left-handed grade. The offset at 5. Staying on that left-handed grade, where they line themselves up for the upright at 6. It does have a water tray underneath. Then they will probably go around the top of fence 3 to this green and white one right here in front of us. That is the offset at 7. Continuing on that left-handed grade around towards fence 8, another offset. Then on to a very good turn on the left-handed grade, where they have a combination of 9A and 9B coming down across the front of hospitality. Popping over the horses, blue and white fence 10. Continuing on that left-handed grade, they line themselves up there with the upright at 11. Before they head towards their 2 final fences, it is a combination of the blue and white fences, 12A and 12B, finishing this first round with it is an offset into an upright 12A, 12B. That will be their round of 510 meters, required speed 375 meters.
إذا أعزائي الحضور الكرام، أقل من 4 دقائق لاختلاف أعلى مشوار اتباعنا للمنصة الفردية الأولى لكرة القدم السعودية للتصنيف العالمي 5 نجوم والشوط الأول 50 سنتيمتر الشوط الجولة الواحدة ضد عقارب الزمن الأخطاء والزمن وتأكيد الشوط وبتصميم
Hello and welcome to Riyadh. Under the desert night sky, we play out our 5-star week here at Jump Saudi, the 4th edition of Jump Saudi this year. As we go along the flags, there are 24 different nations represented here in 5-star competition. 2 peaks to the week as well, with tomorrow night's 2-rounder World Cup qualifier, continuing the points accrual on the way to the Longines FEI Jumping World Cup finals that started here at this venue last week, and Saturday night's 5-star Grand Prix. But our feature tonight, day 1 of the 5-star week at Jump Saudi, is going to be a m50 world ranking table A speed competition. It is cold. I know it doesn't feel that way if you're in Europe looking at 16 degrees Celsius, but it is it's quite cold here. No clouds, of course, to keep in the any heat of the day. So that could be a little bit of an issue, as you said, for some of the horses as well, because they were so used to being out here in the warm, and now suddenly if it gets cold, you see quite often early morning shows or something when it is quite cold, the horse is just that little bit on their toes. They don't enjoy being in the cold. So we'll see how it plays out. Earlier on, taking a little bit of a look at the track set by Peter Schumacher, our riders from around the world here. And we've got a great field of horses and riders for this evening class here, including Billy Toomey, Irish Olympian, who is going to be coming forward with Diego del Carib, who went so well for him last week. Abdullah Shabatli, who we saw moments ago, already a winner of the Grand Prix last week, and already a winner here today in the 5-star opener, the 2-phase 4 meter 45 horses. And early on in the draw as well, when we have a look at it, we're going to see Christian Allmann with last year's winning horse here of the 5-star Grand Prix, Otterongo Alpha. There is Peter Schumacher, the German designer. Designs around the world. He's in great demand actually at the moment, and rightly so, as one of the leading proponents of modern design. A very positive move from Jump Saudi to engage Peter for the 2 weeks here this year. He sets a 12 fence, 14 jumping efforts, meter 50 track with a time allowed of 82 seconds, but onto the format with a single round of jumping at faults and time being the deciding factor. We should end up then with the 82 seconds not being too instrumental. It will be more about those leaving everything standing and being as fast across the ground as they possibly can be. So welcome forward our first of our group of riders for our first world ranking class of the 5-star week here at Jump Saudi for 2024. It is Khalid Al Mobti. So Khalid Al Mobti, runner-up in last week's Grand Prix with Jaguar King, his Paris Olympic horse. Space Cake has been his horse for a couple of seasons now, bought as part of the Olympic qualifying campaign for Saudi. Khalid will be followed by last year's 5-star Grand Prix winning combination, Christian Allmann, Otterongo Alpha, and Egor Skribrik, who went well in the previous class, Sheikh Ali Jamal Nasser Al Nuaimi, who had a good week with us last week, Ioli and Le Perle, who've been on the podium before. Emmanuel Camilli joining the action this week. We already saw him earlier on with his Paris Olympic horse, Odense Odeveld. Ramzi Al Dahami and Adressi, the World Cup winners last week, Ali Al Kharafi, Abdullah Shabatli, Fumicino, Gerfried Pook, Kamal Abdullah Bahamdan, Billy Toomey, Diego Del Carib, Marie Demont with Epona de Kenoy, David Ville, Ines Jolie, Emanuele Gadiano, Nicolas de Musique, and then Sergio Neutmann Jr. is our last to go here this evening at Jump Saudi. So Space Cake was Khalid's horse for the World Cup qualifier here just last week. As I say, went on to be with his other horse, his Olympic horse Jaguar King, the runner-up in our Grand Prix, making it a Saudi 1-2 in that prestigious class here last weekend. Rides well up that related distance. He's been a little bit generous there. He's brought it in from the side of the ring to just let the horses really focus on the distance of the test. Crosses the ring, looking here for a nice direct approach down to the green Saudi emblem, just inside the in-gate. Very, very sharp on his turn there, nips inside the timing beams. Set up for later in the track. Very delicate plank on top of that one. Blind turn around the left shoulder and then breaking into this right-hand dogleg. These checkerboard fences. And that is a very, very good start. As we said, the time allowed shouldn't be too much of an impact on these top horses if they are going to go for it in this class, and Space Cake and Khalid Al Mobti certainly went for it. 68.23. How long that will stand, we shall see, but Khalid certainly laying down a very, very strong challenge here as first to go. So, of course, for the regional riders, this is an important night because they have to qualify for the right to ride in their 2-round World Cup qualifier class tomorrow. And is what this class represents here, as well as being a valuable Longines World Ranking class at meter 55-star level as well. So the Middle Eastern Sub-League of the Arab League got formally off to its start here with us last weekend, although a lot of Saudi riders had picked up points during the 3 legs already held of the overall league in North Africa during the Morocco Royal Tour. Ramzi Al Dahami, of course, last week's winner, consolidated his lead in the series. Christian Ahlmann for Germany, Otterongo Alpha Z. So 5-star Grand Prix winners here 12 months ago. Christian sets off very positive. Christian has been riding a little bit last week and earlier on tonight with Mandatov and the Nierheider, sort of keeping the powder dry, not going all out. This is going all out. And I think Khalid Al-Mobti has done us a good favour here, really lighting up the class. And anyone who wants to be competitive tonight is going to have to really try with that time set by Al-Mobti earlier on. I don't know, the calibre of former World Cup champion, European champion Christian Ahlmann. World's top 50 rider as well. And whilst the points from this class might not make a huge difference to his ranking going into next month, if he can just get on the front foot and feel like, you know, he's in winning ways and he turns that into a good result in the big money Grand Prix or indeed the World Cup or the Grand Prix, then you end up with a situation where, you know, he could be climbing back up the rankings from that place in the 40s. Christian Ahlmann is clear and very fast as well, 62.79. We saw the writing on the wall from early on in that class about how Christian Ahlmann was going to take this on, and he and Otterongo Alpha are the ones to beat, 62.79. Egor Shibrik is our next to go. Egor with Emir Demont Arcourt. Egor who's represented his country several times at youth championship level. Just off the podium earlier on in our first 5-star class, and on the podium earlier on in the 2-star tour as well. Emir Demont Arcourt ended up just outside the top 10 last weekend in our Grand Prix here at Jump Saudi. Little bit hanging over number 1, but it means then that he's got a lot of time and space to just thread the needle down to that Saudi teacups fence. So he's not anything like on the pace of Christian Ahlmann, but he's certainly looking for all the tightest, most inside lines here with Emir Demont Arcourt. 10-year-old, just like Otterongo Alpha, his predecessor in the ring. Again, a nice little inside line inside the Arabic carpets at number 3 to pick up number 7. But of course, the balance then is that you are pushing out and increasing the distance. You have to gallop back up to the Saudi Olympic Committee fence at 8. So far, the horses are seeing that little light plank very, very well. It clears all the way so far. 62 is not going to be caught, 68 is in second, and this is going to be just behind. 70.03, it goes into third place. It's our third clear, but time-wise, with a time of 70.03, Egor goes into an early third place. Christian Ahlmann, the one to beat, and still by over 5 seconds as well. So that's the shape of things after 3 riders. We go on to Sheikh Ali Jamal Nasser Al Nuaimi for the United Arab Emirates. Sheikh Ali with Cobalt van der Bisschop. Sheikh Ali with a podium finisher last week with Kilian in the meter 40-45 tour. And this horse Cobalt did jump the World Cup qualifier for Sheikh Ali. Sheikh Ali now top 5 on the regional standings of the World Cup. After last week's initial leg here at Jump Saudi. You just see the difference there from Igor a few moments ago. He is going out wide. I say one thing that Sheikh Ali wasn't necessarily ever really pushing the throttles all the way forward with us here last week. This good horse Kilian goes at a beautiful, beautiful forward rhythm. This horse does as well, Cobalt van der Bisschop. Obviously, he builds up a great relationship with his horses. They're very much in tune with each other, Sheikh Ali and Cobalt, and with Kilian. Just turns to this final line. Now, shouldn't... 82 seconds. It's a shame to get time penalties in this competition, but that, I think, is what's going to happen. Yeah, 82.11, so it's 1 for time, unfortunately, for Sheikh Ali Jamal Nasser Al Nuaimi and Cobalt van der Bisschop. Greek Olympian Ioli Mitilenu is actually 3rd in this class last week with this horse, Le Perle van der Heffink. No change to specification though, as we go up to from 4 to 5 star. This remains a meter 50 class this week. But of course, from Peter Schumacher's point of view, he's designing a course of the relative influence and relationship between the jumps of 5-star level. So still quite a difference, still an appreciably more difficult meter 50 track for week 2's pre-qualifier. Ready for tomorrow night's World Cup leg. And of course the World Cup legs here on this series are 2-rounder competitions. 25% or all the clears coming back on like the jump-off format used in Western Europe and North America. And Ioli is looking very good. She's looking prompt. She's taking those inside lines. She's very smooth. But Christian Ullmann really came out here meaning business tonight. And I don't think she's quite got the legs of that pace. 62 seconds for Christian Ullmann. He was home. Look at this. We're coming up to 60 seconds and she's only coming up the final line. Out of the final double, 67-65, and that is going to go into 2nd place for Ioli Mitilenu, but that is still a considerable amount behind Christian Ullmann and Otorongo Alpha. Just under 5 full seconds difference between the two. So a rider who joins us for week 2, Emanuela Camilli, Paris Olympian for Italy, a veteran of World and European Championships as well, with Odense Odeveld. Emanuela rides Chaco's Girl Star here tonight for Italy. One of 2 riders with us from Italy, including last year's Grand Prix and World Cup podium finisher Emanuela Gaudiano. Camili and Chaco's Girl Star, could they put Christian Allman's 62.79 under threat here? Just a little bit of a fuss for position and control there down to number 2, but my goodness, once he steadied after number 1 for the turn, and then once he got his line down to number 2, he really went for it. Across the ring, getting in here now. Does a nice job there to try and get that off-angled approach as straight as possible. He's a second down on Allman, mind you. That would still comfortably go into second place, but it won't now. The first rail of the evening, and he gets caught twice out with the distance being related down to that ever so light plank. What's the time going to be for Camili? Look at this, so close, 63.57, 3/4 of a second. But it is with 2 down, 8 faults for Chaco's Girl Star and Emanuela Camili. Ramzi Al-Dahami and Adressi, the combination that were victorious and picked up those maximum points in the World Cup qualifier here last weekend. Ramzi's Adressi turns really nice and sharp for him after number 1 down the line to 2. So that's already a positive start. Because Ramzi's not a rider who looks like he hustles his horses. I mean, you don't often see Christian Allman hustling his horse the way he did tonight, but he was very, very long and flat at that. It'll be interesting to see the split time if we're still given it, because I do think that Ramzi was going, 1.01 seconds down. Again, it's really going to take something to beat Christian Allman, but it is not for the want of trying, as Adressi just takes a little bit of a look at that. You remember that last week we had a Class 1 and lost by a horse just taking a little bit of a look, going on an inside turn at some of the flowers, and just taking his focus off for a fraction of a second, getting the job done. So 67.65 sits in second. 68.05, so a very competitive time, of course, with the rail down. It is going to be further down the order than he would like. 6th at the moment for Ramzi and Adressi.
I was showing you the doubles.
So to take us up to halfway break then, it is going to be Ali Al-Kharafi for Q8. Ali with I was Ali's horse for the Asian Games in Hangzhou, China back in 2023. Very important pre-Olympic run for a lot of the nations and competitors in this region. Ali, a winner earlier on today on the two-star with Karat. Same rail down as Ramsey, and following it up there with the same pair as Kamili. It's going to be 8 faults coming home. Is it going to stay at 8? Let's come off the wagon a little bit in terms of the quality of jump here. We hear a lot of tap, tap, but it all stays in place. 77.46 with 2 down, 8 faults for I and Ali Al-Kharafi, taking us up to halfway here through our Table A speed, the first world ranking class of 5-star World Cup week here at Jump Saudi. So far, Christian Alman, Ioli Mitilenu, Khalid Al-Mobti, Igor Shribik are our clears. And they finish in that order so far. Sheikh Ali Jamal Nasser Al-Noemi with the single time fault sits 5th in front of all those who have rails. Ramzi Al-Dahami, Emmanuel Kamili and Ali Al-Kharafi in that particular club at the moment. It is a short midway pause, so just about 3.5 minutes before our next horse and rider pair are due with us here for our Meter 50 world ranking class during the 5-star World Cup week of Jump Saudi. Welcome back. We're getting ready for the second part of jumping in the Longines World Ranking metre 50 Table A speed, currently being led by Odrongo Alpha and Christian Alman, last year's Grand Prix winners here at the 5-star level at Jump Saudi. It'll be Abdullah Al-Shabatli, winner earlier on tonight, who will get us back underway with Fumicino van der Kalevalai, Jeffrey Pook, Kamal Abdullah Bahamdan, Billy Toomey, Marie Demont, all to come, followed by David Ville, Ines Joly, Manuela Gaudiano, and Sergio Neutmann Jr. of Brazil. Brazil, one of 24 different nations represented here with us this week. So Abdullah Al-Shabatli and Fumicino van der Kalevalai are our next to go, challenging that very fast time from Christian Alman as first to go. Fumicino and Abdullah, the winners of our Grand Prix last weekend at the 4-star level. Abdullah riding throughout the 3 legs of the Morocco Royal Tour, picking up useful World Cup points there. And after last week's podium here in Riyadh as well, moves into a very, very close 4th place. Some of the points incredibly close on the World Cup standings at the moment, and he'll hope to pick up several more points tomorrow here at Jump Saudi. Abdullah and Fumicino van der Kalevalai. So the challenge is laid down by Christian Alman on 62.79. We haven't seen anyone very close to that, but Abdullah won our earlier class with Bokman's Lord Petsy Jr. by a considerable margin, and actually he had the Grand Prix last week won over the first fence. It was the first few strides where he got ahead, and he just consistently stayed there, and he's ahead here. Very nearly a full second up. We've seen people manage to make up a bit of ground in the latter half of the course as well, get closer in to the time set by Alman, but not on a clear. Does Shabatli put it all together and give us the daily double here, heading up to the last, the in and out. 62.79 to beat. It is incredibly close. The last is gone. 61.59. He was 1.2 seconds faster, but at the cost of the rail. Abdullah Shabatli and Fumicino van der Kalevalai, unfortunately, down the order for them with the 4 faults. It's so close. It's going to be really interesting to see this head on. Comes in, Fumicino just catches it behind. Great challenge from Al-Shabatli, but unfortunately those 4 faults will keep him down the order, all of those on a clear or a 1 ranked in front of him, so that puts him into 6th place at the moment. Christian Alman, Ioli Mitilene, Khaled Al-Mobdi, Igor Shribrik are all of our clears, 4 of them, and Sheikh Ali Jabal Nasser Al-Nuaimi with the single time fault over this single round of jumping. Well, the bright blue and yellow coat of the Zangaside stud leads for Christian Alman, but we're about to go to the bright green and red coat of Gerfried Pook. It's become such a feature. It's actually quite odd seeing him riding for the Austrian team when he's not in his bright green coat. And as I say, if you didn't know him before, If you watched a lot of show jumping in this region, you would certainly have known him over the last 12 months, where he has just been a winning machine out here on the Middle Eastern Spring Circuit. And Pook is going for it here. Class winner with us last week with this horse Equitron Ornat. It was the final metre 45 jump off that he won. He was also third in the Grand Prix with Naxel. And actually interesting that both his horses really came into their own on the final day. He's unlucky to have that rail there, because his horses are definitely going much more rideable, much more biddable for him this week as they really settle to their work. They were really on their toes and fresh here last week during 4-star week. Geoffrey just slithers over the top of that plank. It's last in and out to go. He's going to have the front rail there as well. Look at the time, 62.44. So the time is good. We've seen the time beaten twice over now. Geoffrey Pook and Abdullah Shabatli, and they would be two of the biggest challenges really to Christian Almond's victory here. But don't rule out plenty more to come actually in this side of the draw too. But 2 down for Geoffrey Pook here, the Austrian Olympian in our metre 50 world ranking.
السعودية برصيد 5 مشاركات أوروبية.
So Geoffrey now, having jumped day 1 here with his 2 horses, he'll decide what the breakdown is of his horses between the World Cup and the Grand Prix. As we go on to the combination that won last week's 2-star Grand Prix here, Kamal Abdullah Bahamdan, Saudi Olympian, and Popeye van der Bisschop. Well, he was part of that bronze medal winning team for Saudi Arabia at the London Games. The championship horse Cascadella Boy RM, he was runner-up in the metre 45 4-star final last week. Popeye is a lovely, big, long, ground-covering stride. And Kamal not getting in his way too much. They're staying very rhythmic, very smooth. But time-wise, yeah, 3 1/4 seconds down on Alman. It's that you know it was fast, because Alman was out of shape. He was working hard. And we're so used to seeing him be that immaculate, smooth, quiet rider, but he really came in tonight deciding that what Otarango Alpha needed in preparation for the week ahead was to really go for it, to be asked the question and made answer it. Nice clear round. Oh, no, not a clear round. The late rail, unfortunately, for Kamal Abdullah Bahamdan and Popeye. So that is with 67.51, going to be 7th on the ranking, as opposed to where it would have been otherwise. Actually, it would have gone into 3rd. Actually, 67.51 would have gone into 2nd. Such is the difference between Christian Almond's 62.79 and the 67.65 for Ioli Mitilenu. Taps that in front, down it comes. Popeye and Kamal with that final rail down, making the difference between 2nd and 7th. Billy Toomey, Diego del Caribe on the subject of 2nd, a combination that was 2nd in this very competition 7 days ago. Irish Olympian Billy here with 2 very good horses for the 2 weeks of jumping in Saudi. He was one of the clears in the first round of the World Cup last week as well with Chatbot. Multiple 5-star Grand Prix winner. Just opens up Diego there. 4 or 5 strides away from that big Oxford number 4. He's got a Nice snug position here over to the left-hand side of that oxer, brings him in. It's a lovely spot over the vertical with the water tray out behind it. He's not rushing. And actually, maybe for the best. He hung a little bit in the air there, rattled that rail. Only 4 clears at the moment. Let's see where Billy's going to slot in. The first thing is to stay clear. And whilst the time of Christian Almen-Oterongo 62 is long gone, he could have stacked up somewhere else. 75.08 is the time taken for Billy Toomey and Diego Del Carib, last week's runners-up in this division, with 4 faults. That last double is rearing its head again, although for Billy Toomey, it was the A element, front rail off the oxer for Billy, gives him his 4 faults and puts him into 9th position based on faults and time.
وصيفة شوط مثل وصوع من السيتي متر من بطولة الخبز السعودية.
Marie Demont and Epona de Kenoy taking up the challenge now of that very, very fast leading time, 62.79. Epona was Marie's horse for both the World Cup and the Grand Prix last week. Actually finished 10th in the World Cup, just missing out on the clear that would have brought her through to the second round. Positive riding here. A little bit last week that Marie's horses were just getting to the fences and then being a little bit hesitant, and while she's 3 1/4 seconds down, I think what she'd be pleased by is the way this horse is just staying very forward and engaged for her in front of the leg. There you see a tiny bit what I was talking about. That's a little bit of a reflection of what we were seeing jump after jump from some of her horses last week, but she really made it count, coming down that delicate plank stays, and unfortunately then the long 180-degree turn back to number 11 is what catches her out with the 4 faults. 66.97, not a bad time at all. So it goes into 7th position, as I say, a time that had she been clear would have gone into 2nd place. Marie Demont, Epona de Kenoy, she did a great job down this line through the Saudi Equestrian Events double and the blue plank, but unfortunately just came back against her there. You just see the yellow cups being exposed off that top rail. The yellow cups, for those of you who I'm sure most of you do know, they are actually shallower, so it increases the difficulty of the top rail on those verticals and front rails of oxers. So his 2 horses, Diosho and Zinadream, went very well for him last week. He rides Diosho here tonight, having had a good round earlier on in the 2 phase with Zinadream. It is Davidville. David, who's on the German team that won the inaugural Longy League of Nations leg in Abu Dhabi last year. Also won the President's Cup 5-star Grand Prix at that Nations Cup show. What a great turn, 2 to 3 there. Say he's maybe not hustling through his body the way Christian Almen was, but he's not leaving any skin on the bone here in terms of his approach and his turns. Let's look at the split time, and it's got to be close. Yeah, he's up, 0.36 up. We haven't seen that in the green too often. He's a long way off that. Diasho just couldn't make the shape of jump, caught that behind, having slightly cat leaped through his back. And that's what it takes. I mean, this is a good horse, experienced horse. David's giving him a great ride, but in order to hustle for the sort of time set by Christian Allman and Otterango Alpha Z, people are just having to be pushed out of their comfort zone a wee bit. 63.87, and you would say he probably eased up at the end of the course as well. So there is one who could have done it. One of two or three who could have done it, but that's the thing. They haven't done it. They haven't got the clear round. You just see this from a couple of angles there as Diasho just gets that moment where he just needs to throw down the hind leg and take that moment's balance in the air. Having been asked the big question up the distance, as David must have felt, must have known that Allman's time was within his grasp. So the winner of this competition, winning horse and rider from 7 days ago, Une Jolie Féline de Foncombe. The Longines Global Champions Tour Grand Prix of Monaco winner. Ines, who's been coming up through those ranks on the Global Champion circuit for a few years, being part of those Global Champions League teams, which have given some incredible young talents in the sport a real springboard. Did a few years as an under-25 rider, and here she is not long out of the under-25 ranks, and with the 1.5 million euro Monaco Grand Prix to her credit in the 2024 season, and now also a veteran of the Super Grand Prix on Global Champions as well. I wouldn't have thought she was going to be that close, 3/4 of a second. As it is, it's a little bit academic, having had the Saudi crest rail Oxa front rail down in front of the in-gate. Again, just goes to show how nippy this pair are. Little bit flat and forward down there. She goes deeper into the arena than would have been plan A, as she just takes a tiny bit of a reset. And clear all the way home, 66.39, but it is with two down, the plank and the Saudi crest for Une Jolie Féline de Foncombe, so no repeat of last week's victory and no daily double for Abdullah Al-Shabatli. Is it going to be Christian Allman, last year's Grand Prix winner here with Otterango Alpha, or could it be one of our two remaining riders here in our first world ranking class of the weekend? Emanuele Gaudiano, Nicolage de Musique, a horse that took class victory on day one of those Global Champions playoffs here in Riyadh a couple of weeks ago for the Italian Olympian. Gaudiano on the podium here in the World Cup and the Grand Prix during 5-star week of Jump Saudi 2023. It's a very, very tough first turn and line to pick up. And you're committing to a bit of an angle over the Saudi teacups to get a good, neat turn back to the carpets. This has come up well for pretty much everyone so far. Gaudiano following the footsteps of pretty much everyone in terms of a clear touch of the back rail there, and he's a bit further to the right, giving him a one stride longer approach to the vertical. He's on a serious angle here, just lets the horse carry on, really move through the right shoulder and shorten up. Jumping very, very well, very clean as well, and that's important when you're putting this risk, putting this angle on. You need a horse that is very, very tidy in front and behind, and make sure he gets those toes out of the way. 62.79 to beat. It is going to be close, but I don't think he's quite got it. Gaudiano comes up to home. He's 61.26. He does have it. 1.5 seconds. Gaudiano into the lead with one horse and rider pair remaining. Gaudiano in front of Alman. They are the 1-2 from last year's Grand Prix, but Gaudiano is the one to beat here tonight so far. So Gaudiano, will he be back in the winner's circle in a few moments' time, or could it be Brazil? And a man not to rule out either. He was top 5 in this competition last week, just outside the top 5, having jumped clear in round 1 of the World Cup itself. This is Sergio Neutmann Jr. and Corino Blue, the 11-year-old Chaco Blue mare. And 61.26 is the new time to beat. Faster even than Sharbatli's 4 faults in 61.59. So Gaudiano clear and the fastest of anyone over the track. He's smooth, but he just needs to hold down to number 2. Just get a feel for how they're traveling and moving. And again, layman's eye here says they're not just going as fast as some of the others. And that's a shame, because they had been on such a good run of form last week. Corino Blue and Sergio are actually third in the 2-star Grand Prix during the Global Champions playoffs as well. Actually a pair in pretty good form at the moment. We saw a good week for them here 7 days ago during 4-star week. So disappointing to see them have, you know, something of an unforced error there really at the vertical going across the ring. You just see it in the background. Has to stretch a little bit and work hard for the last. 71.67 on the clock with the 4 faults. Gaudiano is our winner. There he is, out in the warm-up. He'll be back in for awards in a few moments' time, which we hope he'll stay with us for. Commiserations to Sergio Neutmann Jr. Almost the first rail of the Jump Saudi Tour with Corino Blue for Sergio for Brazil. Yeah, just didn't quite fold up enough in front. An ever so slight tap. Congratulations begin for Gaudiano. We'll be hearing from Gaudiano, our winner, here in just a few minutes' time, and then it will be awards to conclude day 1 of 5-star week here at Jump Saudi. Victory for Italy, victory for their Olympian, Emanuele Gaudiano, Nicolás de Musique. Christian Ullmann, Alderongo Alpha Z, last year's 5-star Grand Prix winning pair, sits second, having set a very, very good target. Second in the ring, and only one who overtook them. Ioli Mitilenu, La Perla, another podium for them in this competition week on week. Khalid Al-Mobti, Space Cake, Egor Stribik, all clear. And then it was back to Sheikh Ali Jamal Nasser Al Noemi with the single time fault. Al Shabatli with the very fast 4. David Wills, pretty fast 4 too. Marie Demont, all with times that would have been worth podium. Kamal Ramsey, Sergio, as we just saw. Billy Toomey's Diego, who was well placed in this class last weekend. Unfortunately, it's 1 down here today. Gerfried 2 down, Camille with 2 down. Camille is the only rider joining us this week, so he's the one slightly on the back foot in terms of experience in the ring. Ini Jolie, Félin de Foncombe, and Ali Al-Kharafi, and I with the 8 faults. So 8 faults, the biggest score posted in our competition here, the meter 50 world ranking class. So standing by, it will be Philippe Lejeune Jr. here in just a moment or two's time with our winning interview with Emanuele Gaudiano, Nicolás de Musique.
Emanuele Gaudiano, congratulations with this great victory here with Nicolas de Music. A little lucky on the course on that fence number 5, but at the end everything worked out to be faster than Christian Allman.
Yeah, I saw Christian, he was on the beginning and he was very fast today. Then I have to try it. We had, I think, 7-8 clears today. Then I gave the best. I was before last to go. And this week, Nikolai won the class. Last week we had a little bit bad luck, but today coming back.
Of course, now we focus on the World Cup tomorrow and the Grand Prix on Saturday.
Yeah, of course. We are here to make the best result, and we will try.
Thank you so much, and one more time, congratulations.
Thank you very much.
So congratulations to Gaudiano, victorious here. Let's see how it was won, and let's see exactly what we were referring to over number 5 as well, where he pushed his luck just that little bit. And then we'll rejoin you for award ceremonies for our final class of Thursday night here at Jump Saudi. So getting ready for our podium presentation tonight, Saudi Arabian Equestrian Federation and Saudi Equestrian Events, the executive organisation under the federation charged with delivering these world-class standard events, including recently the Global Champions playoffs, and this spring, the first ever time the country and the region have hosted the Longines FEI Jumping World Cup Finals, doing so incredibly well here indoors in Riyadh in April.
أعزائنا الحضور الكرام، خلال لحظات سنستقبل وعلى منصة التتويج ضمن أفضل 3 نتائج لشوط المتر و50 سنتيمتر.
Well, we're ready now for our prize giving for this class. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome our winners.
So here come our top 3, an excellent top 3 as well. Ioli Mitilenu of Greece with La Perla, podium in this class last week, following it up 7 days later. Christian Allman and Ottorongo Alpha Z for Germany, the victors in last year's 5-star Grand Prix here to bring Jump Saudi to its conclusion. The big screen end of the arena as our runner-up, Christian Allman, makes his way forward as well. Christian here with 2 very good horses, his Riyadh World Cup horseman, Data van der Neerheide, and this one, Ottorongo Alpha, the clone of Ottorongo. that he won the 5-star Grand Prix with here 12 months ago.
And now we invite the winner of the class to the top step of the podium from Italy, Emanuele Gardiano.
Emanuele Gardiano now going forward to the top step of the podium. Nicolaj de Musique for the rider who has been victorious all around the world. Longines Global Champions Tour Grand Prix winner, Longines FEI Jumping World Cup qualifier winner in his career, and double Olympian as well for Italy.
So now, ladies and
well, with the podium
gentlemen,
complete, before we start the presentation of awards, it will be a time to honour our winning rider and his nation with the playing of the national anthem of Italy. Well done, Gardiano, victorious in our first world ranking class of 5-star week here at Jump Saudi.
The chairman of the Saudi Arabian Equestrian Federation, to congratulate our third place rider, Ioli Mitilineu.
Well, congratulating Ioli Mitilineu, it's His Highness Prince Abdullah bin Fahad bin Abdullah Al Saud, chairman of the Saudi Arabian Equestrian Federation. Congratulating rider he knows well, Christian Almond, last year's 5-star winner here. Memento trophies for third and second, but His Highness Prince Abdullah now will present the winner's trophy on behalf of the Saudi Arabian Equestrian Federation to Emanuele Gardiano, taking day one's featured class here, the pre-qualifier for the World Cup leg of Riyadh, and in its own right, a Longines World Ranking class.
Ladies and gentlemen, our winners in the class, it is the CSIW vault and time, 1:55 m. Hold the cup up. The Saudi Arabian Equestrian Federation Cup winner, Emanuele Gardiano. So now we will ask our riders
getting ready to rejoin their horses for the lap of honour that will conclude day one here at Jump Saudi for 2024, the 4th edition of the series here at Jump Saudi, in this fantastic purpose-built venue as well, playing host to us here under the winter desert night sky. Looking forward to two big features to come. The 2-rounder World Cup qualifier tomorrow night, starting jumping at 7:40, and then Saturday night's Grand Prix, meter 55 Grand Prix for the 5-star horses, starting at 7:45.
حضورنا الكرام، جولة النصر لنصفق ونؤازر الأبطال لكل الأداء الرائع الذي قدموه.
So now we're going to send them around on their lap of honour. Ladies and gentlemen, our top 3 in this class, led around by the winner of the class, Emanuele
And off they go.
Gardiano.
It is lap of honour time here in Saudi Arabia as we conclude our first world ranking class of 5-star week here at Jump Saudi. It is Emanuele Gardiano and Nicolaj de Musique, the one to beat today. But who will take the FEI Jumping World Cup qualifier and the Grand Prix as our week continues and concludes? We hope you'll come back and join us then.
Emanuele Gardiano وإيطاليا. وأيضا تهانينا لألمانيا والفارس كريستيان آلمان. وبالمركز الثالث اليونان ويولي ماتلانيو.
And now, all on his own, for your applause, the winner of the class, Emanuele Galliano.
يعود لكم مجددا بطل كأس الاتحاد السعودي للفروسية إيمانويل غاديانو.
Well, thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. Competition starts here tomorrow morning.